Have you ever wondered why a powder that's supposed to make you harder could actually be making you weaker? I've seen it happen too many times. Men walk into my office with shelves full of supplements, L-arginine powders, capsules, drinks, believing they've found the secret to stronger erections. And at first it seems to work. For a few weeks, they feel that rush of confidence again, but then something strange happens. Their morning erections fade, their energy drops, and soon what was meant to fix the problem has quietly become the problem itself. I'm saying this not from personal experience, but from years of treating men who trusted the wrong science. See, as a doctor, I don't just treat symptoms. I study the chemistry behind every pill, every powder, every promise. And what I discovered about L-arginine shocked even me. On paper, it sounds perfect. L-arginine is an amino acid your body uses to produce nitric oxide, the molecule that opens blood vessels and allows blood to flow into the penis. More nitric oxide should mean stronger, fuller erections. Right? That's the logic every supplement company sells you. But here's the truth. No one tells you for most men, L-arginine doesn't turn into nitric oxide at all. In fact, taking too much can do the opposite. It can block your body from making nitric oxide naturally. When I first started seeing this pattern in my patients' blood tests, I knew something was deeply wrong. Their arteries weren't opening, they were tightening. Their nitric oxide levels were crashing, and their performance followed. But here's the good news. Your body isn't broken, it's misinformed. There are natural, clinically proven powders that actually work with your biology, not against it. Powders that rebuild circulation, restore nitric oxide naturally, and bring back the confidence you thought was gone forever. And in a moment, I'll tell you exactly which ones they are and why they're safer and far more powerful than L-arginine could ever be. When I first started seeing patients who relied on L-arginine, I noticed the same story play out again and again. They'd walk in convinced they'd found the miracle molecule, the one thing that could bring their manhood roaring back. And on paper, it does sound logical, doesn't it? L-arginine is supposed to boost nitric oxide, the gas that widens blood vessels and lets blood surge into the penis. Simple chemistry, right? Add more arginine, get more nitric oxide, get stronger erections. But inside the body, things aren't that simple. Imagine your blood vessels like flexible garden hoses. Nitric oxide keeps those hoses open and smooth. But when you dump too much L-arginine into the system, your body doesn't use it the way you think. Instead of turning it into nitric oxide, it starts converting it into something toxic, ADMA short for asymmetric dimethyl arginine. ADMA is like rust in those hoses. It clogs the inner walls, stiffens them, and stops blood from flowing freely. I've seen this pattern in lab work countless times. Men who took high-dose L-arginine for months came back with lower nitric oxide levels, not higher. Their arteries weren't relaxing, they were tightening. One even told me, "Doc, I feel like my body's betraying me. The more I try, the worse it gets." And he was right. Excess arginine triggers an enzyme blockade called enos inhibition, cutting off nitric oxide production at the source. That's why many men feel a short burst of improvement, then crash weeks later. Here's what most supplement companies never admit the problem isn't your lack of arginine, it's your body's inability to activate it correctly. Your cells already have enough of this amino acid from everyday food. What they need is balance, not overload. And once that balance tips, the very supplement you trust to open your blood vessels can quietly close them instead. Now, here's where it gets even more shocking, and it's something most doctors don't explain clearly, because if arginine isn't the real key to nitric oxide, what is? The answer lies in a completely different pathway, one that nature designed to never backfire, and that's exactly what I'm about to show you next. That's the part most men never see coming. What starts as a harmless supplement can quietly turn into a slow-motion sabotage from inside your arteries. When excess L-arginine floods the system, your body tries to protect itself, but in doing so, it accidentally creates the very condition that kills performance endothelial dysfunction. Think of your blood vessels as living skin on the inside. They're lined with delicate cells called the endothelium tiny sensors that control whether blood flows smoothly or gets stuck. When those cells are healthy, nitric oxide glides through like a perfectly oiled machine. But when ADME builds up, it's like pouring sand into that oil. The sensors jam, the lining stiffens, and blood that should surge into the penis now meets a wall instead of a welcome mat. In one study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association, men with high ADME levels had up to 50% lower nitric oxide activity than normal. That's not just bad for erections. It's the same early warning sign seen in cardiovascular disease. Every time your nitric oxide drops, your risk for hypertension and heart attack quietly rises. That's why I tell my patients erectile issues are often the body's first whisper that the heart is in trouble. Ignore it, and that whisper becomes a scream. I remember one patient, a 62-year-old retired firefighter named Mark. He came to me after months of taking L-arginine shakes every morning. Doc, he said it felt like magic at first. Then everything just stopped working. His blood work told the story. Sky high, ADME low, nitric oxide arteries, stiff as pipes. Once we stopped the arginine and repaired his nitric oxide balance naturally, his morning strength slowly came back. He looked at me 3 weeks later and said, "It's like my body finally remembered how to work again." That's the turning point for most men, the moment they realize the problem was never a lack of willpower or masculinity. It was chemistry, hijacked by misinformation. And here's the part that blows people's minds. You can restore nitric oxide without touching arginine at all. Nature already built a second pathway, faster, safer, and far more reliable. It doesn't rely on amino acids or risky powders. It starts in a place you'd never expect, right on your tongue. Because the real secret isn't hiding in another supplement. It's hidden in the foods you already know, the ones that can rebuild blood flow from the inside out. And that's exactly what I'm about to reveal next. That's where everything changes when I realized arginine wasn't the hero we thought it was. I went looking for the body's backup system, the one nature built long before supplements ever existed. And what I found still amazes me. Your body has a second highway to nitric oxide, completely independent of arginine. It's called the nitrate-nitrite NO pathway, and it starts not in your gut, but in your mouth. Here's how it works. When you eat foods rich in natural nitrates, like leafy greens or beetroot-friendly bacteria living on your tongue, immediately convert those nitrates into nitrites. Then once you swallow, your stomach acid finishes the job and turns those nitrites into nitric oxide. No amino acids, no complicated enzyme chain, just pure natural chemistry in the best part. This pathway keeps working even when the first one fails. In simple terms, think of arginine as a weak power line. It shorts out easily. The nitrate pathway is the generator that kicks in when the lights go out. It's steady, reliable, and it fuels not just your erections, but your heart, your brain, your blood pressure, everything that depends on healthy circulation. Several studies confirm it. A review in Nutrients found that diets high in nitrate-rich vegetables increased nitric oxide levels by up to 40% and improved endothelial function in just 2 weeks. Another paper from the University of Exeter showed athletes drinking beet juice could increase oxygen delivery and stamina within hours. That same oxygen-boosting effect is exactly what helps blood fill the penis faster and stay there longer. I often tell my patients this: you don't need more pills, you need more plants. Your kitchen already holds stronger medicine than most supplement stores. When men switch from powders to natural nitrate foods, their lab results and their confidence change fast. I've seen blood pressure drop, morning energy rise, and yes, firmer erections return naturally without a single capsule. But of course, not every natural powder is safe. Some can secretly overload your kidneys with oxalates or come diluted with filler. That's where most men slip again, thinking they're choosing health while creating a new problem. And that's exactly why, before you grab the next jar of beetroot or green powder, you need to know which ones actually heal and which ones can quietly harm your kidneys instead. Let me explain the difference. When most men hear natural nitric oxide, they instantly think beetroot powder. I get it. It's colorful, trendy, and every fitness ad calls it a circulation superfood. And honestly, there's truth in that hype. Beetroot is packed with natural nitrates that open blood vessels like magic, improve stamina, and even lower blood pressure. One study from hypertension research showed that a single serving of beet juice could reduce systolic pressure by up to 10 points within hours. That's real measurable chemistry working in your favor. So, yes, beetroot can absolutely help blood flow. And for some men, it's the first time they've felt real energy in years. But here's the side no one likes to talk about. Hidden inside those beautiful red pigments is something called oxalate. And in high amounts, oxalates can bind to calcium and form sharp crystals, tiny microscopic shards that can scratch your kidneys from the inside. Over time, those crystals grow into kidney stones or worsen existing kidney disease. I'll never forget a patient named Dennis, 59, who was drinking beetroot smoothies every morning because he'd read it boosts nitric oxide. 3 months later, he came to me with lower back pain and foamy urine. Yes, his labs told the story his kidney markers had doubled. The culprit wasn't sugar or salt, it was oxalate overload from beetroot. Once he stopped and switched to lower oxalate nitrate sources, his kidneys stabilized and his blood pressure improved. Now, that doesn't mean beetroot is evil. It means moderation and quality control are everything. The problem is not all beetroot powders are equal. When researchers tested popular brands, 64% contained less nitrate than the label promised, and some were loaded with synthetic color or heavy metals. Translation: you might be paying for red dust that does nothing for your nitric oxide at all. That's why I tell my patients, if you love beetroot, eat it fresh and small, about half a cup a few times a week, not every day, and skip the cheap tubs that claim miracles. Your body will thank you and your kidneys will stay calm. Because the real secret isn't in more beetroot, it's in smarter substitutes that deliver the same nitric oxide punch without the kidney risk. And two of them, arugula and celery, might already be hiding in your fridge. Let's talk about why they work even better. When I tell men to back off the beetroot, they usually look at me like I've just taken away their favorite toy. But that's when I smile and say, don't worry, nature gave us stronger options. Two of my favorite replacements, arugula and celery powders, deliver all the nitric oxide magic of beetroot without the kidney risk hiding underneath. Let's start with arugula. This humble leafy green isn't just a salad garnish. It's a nitric oxide factory. In fact, gram for gram arugula contains more natural nitrate than beetroot and zero oxalates. That means it opens blood vessels without leaving sharp crystals behind. In lab studies, men who consumed arugula Extract showed faster endothelial recovery and lower blood pressure within weeks. I've seen it firsthand. One of my patients, Richard, 64, had been struggling with circulation issues and nightly pills that made him feel worse. I switched him to a smoothie with arugula powder, vitamin C, and ginger. 3 weeks later, his blood pressure dropped by 12 points, and his morning energy returned so naturally, he thought it was coincidence. It wasn't. That's nitric oxide doing its job again. Then there's celery powder, the quiet hero nobody expects. It's packed with vitamin C, vitamin K, and a flavonoid called epigenin, a compound proven to calm inflammation and support vascular flexibility. Think of your arteries like guitar strings. Epigenin keeps them tuned, never too tight, never too loose, so blood flow stays smooth and rhythmical. Celery also acts as a mild diuretic, helping reduce water retention and lower sodium levels naturally. The combination makes it a safe daily tonic for men with high blood pressure or kidney concerns. What makes these two powders so powerful is how gently they work. They don't force chemistry, they restore it. By feeding your body nitrates instead of overloading it with amino acids, you reactivate the natural nitric oxide cycle that aging and stress once switched off. And unlike synthetic boosters, they don't spike and crash. They build quietly, like lighting a steady flame instead of a firework. Another bonus, you can actually taste the difference. Arugula adds a peppery bite. Celery brings a refreshing earthiness. Mix them into smoothies, soups, or even morning juices. They blend beautifully with ingredients like lemon, ginger, or turmeric, amplifying circulation and anti-inflammatory effects in one simple ritual. But if you're wondering how much you need or whether there's such a thing as too much of a good thing, you're asking the right question, because dosage matters. And in the next part, I'll show you exactly how much nitrate your body really needs each day to boost circulation, protect your heart, and restore your natural strength without risking overload. Whenever I explain that arugula and celery can outperform beetroot, the next question always hits fast. Okay, doc, how much should I actually take? It's a smart question because when it comes to circulation, more isn't better. Precision is power. Here's what the science shows. Most studies that measured nitrate intake and blood flow improvement found that about 350 to 400 milligrams of dietary nitrate per day is the sweet spot. That's roughly the equivalent of one generous handful, around 100 grams of fresh arugula, or a few teaspoons of high-quality arugula or celery powder. In research published in Nutrients and the Journal of Clinical Hypertension, this dosage consistently improved nitric oxide levels, lowered systolic blood pressure by an average of 8 to 10 mmHg, and enhanced endothelial function within just 2 weeks. Now let me make this practical. If you're using powder start, small half a teaspoon mixed into a smoothie or water once a day for the first week, let your body adjust. Then if you feel good, more energy, steadier pulse, warmer hands and feet, you can build up slowly to 1 or 2 teaspoons daily. Consistency beats intensity every time. The goal isn't to flood your system overnight. It's to retrain it gently. I often tell my patients to think of nitric oxide like sunlight for your blood vessels. A little every day keeps them alive and flexible, but too much too fast can burn out the balance. That's why I combine nitrate foods with other natural boosters, vitamin C, from citrus magnesium, from leafy greens, and deep breathing exercises that open vessels naturally. It's a synergy that works with your biology, not against it. Within the first 10 days, many of my patients notice changes. They can feel deeper sleep, clearer skin tone, sharper focus, and yes, stronger, more spontaneous morning erections. And that's not fantasy. It's simply oxygen and blood flow returning where it belongs. When your vessels open up, your confidence follows. But remember, nutrition alone can't finish the job if your circulation is stuck. Muscles matter, especially the ones you can't see. And that's why in the next part, I'll reveal the one exercise I teach every patient, the 5-minute routine that rewires your pelvic muscles and turns blood flow into real-world performance. Here's the truth I tell every patient who walks into my office: even the best diet can't fix blood flow if your body never moves. Nitric oxide is born from chemistry, yes, but it's activated by motion. Your muscles are like tiny pumps that squeeze blood through the arteries, and when they sit idle, your circulation sleeps too. That's why I created what I call the 5-minute pelvic flow routine. It's simple, private, and designed for men who think they're too busy or too embarrassed for the gym. This little routine trains the muscles that surround your pelvic floor, the very foundation of your erections. When you strengthen those fibers, blood doesn't just reach the penis, it stays there. Here's how it works. Imagine the muscles you'd use to stop urinating midstream, that's your pelvic floor. Contract them gently for 5 seconds, then relax for 5. Repeat 10 times. Do 3 rounds of that every morning and evening. If you're sitting right now, you can even start while watching this video. Within weeks, those deep muscles become stronger, your vessels respond faster, and the brain-to-body connection starts to fire again. A 2023 study in the International Journal of Urology found that men who practiced focused pelvic contractions for just 5 minutes daily improved erection hardness by over 70% within 3 months. That's not hype, that's physiology rediscovered. Movement wakes up the nitric oxide pathways, enhances testosterone circulation, and stabilizes blood pressure. It's the missing half of the equation most supplements ignore. And here's something my patients love. It's discreet. You don't need weights machines or a gym membership, just awareness. Some do it while brushing their teeth, others during their morning coffee. The key is rhythm. I tell them, make it as natural as breathing. Because once the body learns to move in tune with its chemistry, healing becomes automatic. Within a few weeks, men start sending me messages like, "Doc, I didn't even realize it was working," until one morning I woke up and everything felt alive again. That's what balanced circulation feels like, quiet confidence returning on its own. But before you rush off to try it, there's one final piece that ties everything together: the mindset and daily rhythm that keep your nitric oxide engine running for life. Because if you don't guard the progress you build, old habits can shut it down again. And that's exactly what I'll explain next in the closing of this journey. So if there's one thing I want you to take from this, it's that your body isn't broken. It's simply waiting for you to give it what it truly needs: balanced movement and nourishment from the inside out. You don't need endless pills, powders, or, quick fixes. What you need is understanding, because once you understand how your chemistry really works, you take back control, not just of your health, but of your confidence, your relationships, and your future. We started this journey with a warning about L-arginine, the so-called miracle supplement that can quietly backfire. But we've ended with something far more powerful: hope. Real science-backed hope that comes from nature, not a bottle. When you nourish your nitric oxide pathways through food, movement, and consistency, your blood vessels heal, your energy returns, and that spark you thought was gone begins to flicker back to life. I've seen it happen hundreds of times. Men in their 50s, 60s, even 70s who thought their best days were behind them, suddenly rediscovering vitality, clarity, and confidence they hadn't felt in years. That's not fantasy, it's physiology finally working the way it's meant to. And I want that for you too. So here's my advice: start small, stay consistent, and listen to your body. Replace the quick fixes with daily rituals. that build strength quietly but steadily. Protect your heart, your kidneys, your circulation, because when those are strong, everything else follows. If today's video opened your eyes or gave you a new way to look at your health, do me one favor. Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next science-based tip to keep your body performing at its best. And please save this video or share it with a friend who might need to hear it. You never know, you could be the reason another man gets his life and confidence back. Now I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments what's one thing you're going to start doing differently after watching this. I read every single one. Take care of yourself, because when you take care of your blood flow, you take care of your life.